Welcome back to another battle report by Battleforge Brothers. Today it is Tyranids versus the Ultramarines. So it is a 1,500 point battle, and today we'll be doing Beachhead. So it's chapter approved 2018. So it is 4 objectives. So there's 2 objectives in the centre that both me and Graham have placed 12 inches apart, and 1 objective each in our deployment zone. We have already deployed, so as you can see, we'll go through the army lists in a second, but in the Tyranids deployment there is another objective down here, and across the Space Marines deployment just near the Aegis defence line here. So as you can imagine, the civilians have evacuated this area. They know that the Tyranids are on the way, so they've built up some makeshift defences. As you can see, a couple of craters and ruins after preliminary bombardment by the Tyranid High Fleet. And it is a Tyranids, like I say, a High Fleet Gorgoroth using Kronos today against new Space Marines, so a new Codex for them as well over the past few weeks. So it'll be interesting to see these 2 armies. So the mission, like I say, it is Beachhead, so there is Slay the Warlord, Linebreaker and First Strike available for extra points. But from this particular mission as well, there is... so the points that we'll be able to pick up, we'll get 1 from Battle Round 2. At the end, we'll get 1 command point, 1 victory point for claiming objectives in our own deployment zone. And we'll get 2 objectives for claiming the centre ones. Or if we decide to venture out into each opposing army's deployment, we will gain 3 objectives points for that. So it promises to be a good old classic match, of course. The Space Marines are pure Primaris force as well, against the Tyranids. I mean, obviously apart from your tanks, but we'll go through the army lists in a moment. So I did win the deployment, but Graham has... so I chose this deployment, is Dawn of War. Graham deployed first and will go first, unless, of course, that we seize. But we'll come back with the army lists first. I'll go through what we're hoping to see happen, obviously stratagems, but artifacts, things like that as well. So we'll go over and have a look at the Marines. Right, so this is Graham's Primaris Ultramarine force, like I say, with the addition of the Whirlwind there. But Graham's just going to run through his list, obviously what warlords and traits and stuff like that he's got. So where do you want to start, Graham?
Yeah, we'll start with the HQ guys. So basically we've got Chief Librarian Tyranids.
He's the new model as well, isn't he?
New model, yep, freshly painted today. Last week, finished him off.
He's a bit of a look at this guy, actually, turn him around. Lovely model, like, to be honest. Yeah, so that's, is he your warlord?
He is my warlord.
Okay, so Tyranids is the warlord for this army.
And the second powers is what he's got is Smite, Precognition, Scarer's Gaze and Psychic Scourge. He can only cast 2 and deny 2 at a time.
Okay.
But he's got the option for 4 there.
Right.
Next we've got the Primaris Chaplain, who is currently in the Repulsor.
Okay, Repulsor over here, yeah.
Yeah, and we've got the Primaris Lieutenant, who's on the other side of the board, near the 10-man tactical.
Is that him at the back, yeah?
That's him there.
Okie doke.
Yeah. So troops, we'll stay over there for the 10-man tactical squad, intercessor squad.
Are these all equipped with the standard
what you
bolt
see
rifles?
is what you get, yeah.
Okay.
Bolt rifles. We'll come across over to here for the 2 5-man squads. Again, bolt rifles.
One there and one there, yep.
We've got, moving on to the elites, we've got an aggressor squad that's currently in the Repulsor.
They're nice, sitting pretty and safe in there.
Yeah, need to keep them safe after last game, where they just died first turn. And then we've got the Redemptor Dreadnought on the other side of the battlefield.
He's just supporting his battle brothers over this side.
Onslaught Gatling, heavy Onslaught Gatling, and basically everything that he can take.
So frag song, grenade launchers and the rocket pod, I believe, isn't it?
And also the grenade launchers on his chest.
Okay.
We'll move over. We'll stay actually over there, which is the Interceptor guys. They're my fast attack choice, and they're currently armed with the Assault Bolters.
Okay.
On to heavy support. We'll come over to this building here with the Eliminator squad.
Yep, looking nice and stealthy, these guys, just with a nice commanding view across the battlefield there.
Yeah. hopefully they can do some damage this game. And then we'll move across over to the Predator with twin las cannons and 2 las cannon sponsors.
That's okay. So
it hasn't been on the board for a while. So
yeah, it's been a while since Predator's been out.
And then the Whirlwind, which I think has only been on the channel once.
Yeah. This is actually it started as life as something different, didn't it? It was the Hunter or Stalker or something.
Hunter and Stalker, because I had it magnetised.
And these Whirlwind turrets are actually from Spellcraw.
Yeah.
So they look quite nice and gothic. Just give you a bit of a look at the back there as well. And obviously I'll see if I can get an angle from the front. Just with the nice missiles poking out. So yeah, so that is available from Spellcraw as well.
Right, and we'll move over to the Big Daddy tank, which is the Repulsor, and that is armed with, and if you've got 5 minutes, I'll
yeah, it's armed to the teeth, this thing, isn't it?
2 Crackstone grenade launchers, twin heavy bolter, heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, onslaught Gatling cannon, 2 Fragstorm grenade launchers, an Icarus Iron Hall heavy stubber, and then the auto launchers around the side.
Right, yeah, so it does have a lot of firepower, this thing, and obviously with it being able to transport units, it's quite useful tank as well. How many points is it, just off the top of your head?
Points for the tank was 300.
300 points, right. So
you're talking just a bit more expensive than a Land Rover.
Yeah, it is, yeah, so wait, it's a hovering Land Raider, isn't it?
Armed to the teeth.
Okie doke. So obviously Graham will have Devastator Doctrine in act for the first turn. He's your Warlord, isn't he? Has he got a standard Warlord trait?
He has got, which I sorted this out before, I wish I kept the book. He has got the Paragon of War. When resolving an attack made by this Warlord, any unmodified wound rolls of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any other damage.
Is that just in combat, is it?
That is any attack.
Any attack, right,
yeah.
So shooting and combat. Okay, so that is the Space Marine Force there. It is 1,500 points as well, just to mention, and Battleforged?
Battleforged.
Battalion Detachment?
Battalion, and we've got 5 command points.
Okay, so plus your others. Right, okie doke, so we'll have a look at the Hive Fleet that will be coming up against them, looking to try and munch them. Let's go and have at Hive Fleet Gorgoroth. Right, so this is Hive Fleet Gorgoroth, my custom Hive Fleet. That will be taking on the Space Marines of the Ultramarines chapter today. So 1,500 points, actually a little bit just short, it was about 3 points under. So what have we got? We have Battleforged and a Battalion Detachment, so we are 8 command points. Graham's also 8, so it should make for interesting strategies today. So we'll start over this side first. So we have a squad of 10 Termagants, all with Flesh Borers. And then we have another squad of 10 just in front there with Devourers. They're just on the cusp of the... they're ready to just move out and maybe potentially make a bit of a sweep round. Backed up by the Hive Tyrant. Hive Tyrant hit there. This one is more the shooty guy. So he's got the 2x2 Devourers. So he's the shooty one. Powers that this guy has is... I believe it is Catalyst. No. It is not Catalyst. Just remembering the powers for this guy here. This one is Paroxysm and Psychic Scream. That's this guy here. Then we have the Broodlord, who has taken the Horror. He is the Warlord as well. So the Warlord trait is the Kronos one, because I have took from Kronos adaptation today. So he's got Soul Hunger. And his bio artifact is the Ymgarl factor, or the Ymgarl factor, however you want to pronounce that. We also have a squad of 15 Gene Stealers. There is 3 Acid Maws in there, all with Siphon Talons and Rending Claws. They are looking to obviously potentially see what they can do in this game. We have a brood of Hive Guards, just with the Impaler Cannons standard there. We have a second Hive Tyrant here, who's more the combat specialist. He has the 2 lots of the massive Siphon Talons. Powers that this one has is Catalyst and Onslaught. And of course access to Smite across the board as well. We have 3, a brood of Carnifexes, but they're deployed as 1 unit and then move off in the room themselves. They have the Heavy Venom Cannon and the massive Siphon Talons. And the only other upgrade that these guys have is the Enhanced Sensors. Just for points, I haven't been able to give them the Spore Cysts. And then we just have, just at the right-hand side of our deployment, we have the Exocrine just with his massive cannon, hopefully looking to see what he can do with that. So I haven't spent any command points for any additional relics or anything like that at the moment. I'm not going to either, so we'll just go straight on to see who will have the first turn. So it is Graham that automatically in this particular mission of Beachhead, he will have the first turn, unless of course the Tyranids can see. So on a roll of a 6, on a roll of a 4, we do not. So we'll hand over to the Space Marines as they hunker down and prepare their lines. Tyranids will be giving his orders out, and he'll be telling them to fire at everything that moves. So we'll come back at the beginning of Ultramarines turn 1. Right, so we are just almost at the end of Graham's movement phase here. He's just shifting a few units forward. But just to cap, the repulsors came around this side, looking down this, what's probably going to be a corridor of death. Looks as though like the heavy support is just going to take on the bigger creatures. It makes sense tactically as well. So you can imagine that Tyranids has given his orders that he's foreseen these big beasties coming around the corner, and he's sent out heavy support to deal with that. Tyranids himself, along with the two intercessor units, looks as though they're moving through the centre column here, backed up with their artillery fire support from the Whirlwind. And just on the top, obviously the what these guys called again? Infiltrators.
Eliminators.
Eliminators, yep. They are quite happy just in the top building there. Just around the left-hand flank, from the Tyranids perspective, so the Inceptors have just sweeping down, backed up by the Redemptor Dreadnought and the Predator, and of course the large squad of the Intercessors there, just with the Lieutenant in the back. So quite a lot of firepower heading our way, no doubt. But first, of course, there is the Chief Librarian himself is going to try and cast some psychic powers. So we'll see what Graham wants to do, and we'll come back if anything important has happened through the psychic phase. Just to mention the battle mat from that we're using today as well. This is the battle mat Forgotten Realm from gamemat.eu. Certainly check them out. They do multiple different mats. Obviously they are just like a polythene underneath, like the mouse mat material, and of course they are figure friendly as well. They do multiple different designs. They're nice and quiet for the dice rolls. So certainly check out gamemat.eu for that. Right, so we are just still in the middle of Graham's shooting phase. Just to quickly cover Psychic as well. So Tyranids being masterful with the warp here. He cast Scryer's Gaze and Precognition. So basically he's got himself a 5+ invulnerable, and he regained a command point. So that's Graham's command point took up for this round. He then spent that in the shooting phase on the Predator for a stratagem. I can't remember the name of it, but it was basically one of the weapons as an automatic hit. Then took all 4 shots, one of them automatically hitting, coming in at the Hive Tyrant. Unfortunately, he did only get 2 hits and 2 wounds, with Devastator Doctrine being in effect as well. Would have been -4, but the Psychic Barrier protecting us there didn't do any damage. Subsequent shooting came from the Intercessors and the Dreadnought, which gave Graham first strike, wiping out the Termagant unit here with the Devourers. Also, just firing the Whirlwind. What was the name of the missile? Was it Vengeance or something? Castellan missiles. I'm not familiar with their Whirlwind terminology. Not needing line of sight. Massive range as well, firing at the Exocrine. But we did manage to pass our 4+ saves there, because it would have been no minus, but because of Devastator Doctrine, -1. So Graham's just going to go on to the Eliminators, and then of course the big tank here as well. So the Eliminators first. Where are they shooting at?
The Eliminators are going to fire at the Exocrine.
Okay, so they're going to shoot down at this big beastie here.
Yep, and they're going to use the Mortis rounds, which is a heavy 1, so 1 shot each, strength 5, -2, but with the Devastator Doctrine becomes -3. D3 damage.
Okay, so...
And when resolving the attack made with the weapon, a wound roll of 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound.
Okay, nice.
In addition to any other damage.
And alright, so it's in addition as well.
Yep.
Okay.
So, less dice.
Yep.
But hopefully good rolls.
Okay, so just rolling down here.
Yep, we're hitting on 3s.
Okay, just the 1.
Okay, that's not a bad. Strength 5, toughness
8, so
3s again.
5's to wound.
Oh, 5's to wound, yeah. Which, nope, we didn't do. No.
Doesn't do any damage there.
Yeah.
So they did find the mark. Well, one of them did, but 2 of them did. Sorry.
Still finding the
finding the feet, them guys.
Yeah.
So over to the big event, I take it that that this guy's more than likely going to fire at the Exocrine, is he?
Yeah. Have you got enough battery on that camera?
Yeah, fully charged, ready to go.
So we are looking for the repulsor.
So the Exocrine, as you can just imagine it, you know, all these screeching, hulking beasts coming around this, and the pilot there and the driver just going, right, fire everything at this thing.
That's what exactly.
Yeah. So
right. So yep, we're going to do that at the Exocrine. All the weapons that are on that tank are going to fire at it.
Okay. So what are you starting off with? There's a lot of
getting me pad for this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ranges as well for this weapon, as I believe. So it is a wonderful looking tank. Some people don't like it. It's grown on me. Are you going to get the brother for this at some point? The Executioner?
I might. I would like it.
Right, okay, so Graham's just checked obviously what weapons that this thing's got, what order he wants to do them. The only weapon that's out of range is the Fragstorm Grenade Launcher, so what you're opening with? The Heavy Bolters?
I'll probably say the Fragstorm Grenade Launcher, the Crackstorm Grenade Launcher, and also the... anything else with the 18 on there? No. So yeah, just the Fragstorm Grenade Launcher and the Crackstorm Grenade Launcher.
Okay, they're out of range for the time being. So first weapon firing is the Heavy Bolter?
Heavy Bolter.
Okay, so Heavy Bolter coming in. It is twin as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so 6 shots.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not twin linked anymore.
Heavy 6, yeah.
Yep.
We're looking at the wrong one, actually. So, hitting on 3s.
Did this guy move?
He did,
as well?
yes. Yeah.
Does he ignore it for hovering?
Repulsor fire power off.
I would imagine he does.
Distance are always measured to and from the hull. However, the machine spirit this minute does not suffer the penalty for moving and firing.
Okay, yep, so hitting on 3s.
Hitting on 3s.
Okay, pretty average there.
Yeah.
Strength 5.
Toughness
8. 5 to wound.
Nice.
Okay,
2 6s.
2 6s come through.
It is heavy.
Yep.
And the Devastator Doctrine's on there. So it is -2.
Okay, so it'll be 5 ups. Which we do fail. Damage 1?
Damage 1. Yeah.
Okay, so that'll drop them down to 10 wounds.
Okay. Heavy Onslaught Gatling and the Onslaught Gatling. Might as well do them together. Just like
so that's this
Dreadnought.
big turret weapon and the one that he's holding.
So that's the Onslaught.
You can just imagine this bristling with firepower, just trying to mow this beast down.
12 were, they're still heavy, so we're hitting on 3 still.
Yep, because he ignores it.
Oh, 10 out. Alright, dice rolls, not bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Alright, strength 5, toughness.
Toughness 8,
Yeah.
so it'll be 5s and
again.
6s to wound.
Oh,
Bad roll. 1 wound comes through from the Gatling.
yeah. And it is -1.
Okay, -1. So 4 up save for the exocrine. That is a cocked dice. We do normally play a house rule here. Okay, but that is a fail, so that drops them down to 9. So we do play like hull facing, so just to make things a little bit easier. Okay, so that is both of these weapons here, the Gatling, both Gatlings and the heavy bolters, of course.
Yeah. Icarus rocket pods, I've got 3 of those.
Okay.
2, 3.
That's them on the side.
Yeah, it's D3 a piece.
Right.
So
Okay, so 3d3 shots. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots.
3s.
Yep, hit on 3s. Just the one miss on that.
Yeah.
What's this, like strength 5 or something? Or
Pods, which is strength 7.
strength 7.
Yeah.
Nice. So wounding on 5 still. It's toughness 8. Just the 1 wound
Just
comes
the 1
through.
round, yeah.
And what is the minus and damage?
Minus is, it's a heavy, so it'll be -2 instead of -1.
-2, so 5 up. Okay, another wound. Is it just the 1 damage?
Just the 1 damage, yeah.
Okay, so another wound caused. So it's bringing him down to 8 wounds here.
And the heavy stubber, the Iron Hall heavy stubber, which is a heavy 3. It's 36, so that'll be in range.
Yeah, definitely. Hitting on 3s for the stubber. So 2 hits.
Strength 4, so it'll be
Oh, the 6s. This is toughness 8.
1
wound comes through.
It's -1, so it'll be -2.
Okay, so 5 up. Which we do pass on a roll of a 6.
Right.
So Devastator Doctrine coming in rather handy there, chipping off wounds.
And that is it.
And that's all the firepower done
Yep.
from the army as well, isn't it?
That is,
Yep. Okay, so obviously no assaults. You'll probably not want to get her an assault, but at this range, you know, there's still a bit of a distance. So chipping out some damage over here, and of course, taking out this termagant unit down here. We are in synapse, so we're fine for morale, and no morale over that side. So we'll come back with the Tyranids assault. So we'll see what they can do. Right, so we are just back after movement for Tyranids on their first turn. So there's a lot of movement happened. These guys are staying stationary, just to claim this. The Hive Tyrant moving up with the Devourers has just moved up near the Space Marine statue, looking to lend some fire support. The Gene Stealers have advanced 13 inches in total, so they've come from here through the doorway and are now occupying this objective just down here, and obviously in a greater threat range. Broodlord is just behind with a 12-inch advance from him. The Hive Guard have had to just shift up slightly just to get in range. And over this side, just at the beginning of the turn, we did play a stratagem. We played Rapid Regeneration, and we got 3 wounds back, and so that's putting the Exocrine almost at full health there. So he's moved up, as well as the Carnifexes, and the Hive Tyrant, the more combat-based Hive Tyrants, just moved up in psychic support, and obviously to provide synapse to these guys down here as well. So we do have a few psychic powers to pull off. We'll have a quick debate, see what powers we need to try and do. And then, of course, we'll come back with shooting. Not a massive amount of shooting as I normally bring, mainly from here and from here. And, of course, over there with the Hive Tyrant. But we'll see what we do, see what powers we can try and get off, and hopefully we'll do some damage. Right, so we're just back after Psychic Phase for Tyranids. Cover obviously Psychic Phase with more than one Psychic as a separate phase usually. So this guy here managed to cast Psychic Scream and Smite, gaining us first strike. Graham also got first strike as well earlier, so taking out the Inceptor unit. which was quite cool over that side. The Broodlord attempted to cast the Horror, but was denied by Tyranids. Tyranids did also attempt to deny the Smite from the Hive Tyrant, but didn't get the result high enough, even with his buffs. So from the only other side, this Hive Tyrant here managed to cast Catalyst onto the Genestealer unit, just giving them a bit of protection there, and also cast Onslaught onto the Exocrine, just so that he can still fire at his normal ballistic skill. So going into the shooting phase, we'll have to have a deliberation, probably start over here. We'll catch some of it on camera, but we'll come back once I've decided where I want to start. Right, so we are just towards the end of the shooting phase for the Tyranids. There's a lot that that has happened, just for ease as well. So over this side, Tyranid, the Hive Tyrant, has fired his Brain H Worms, didn't do very successful. However, Graham, we did get, like, it was something ridiculous, like 14 wounds, but Graham is a power armor saving him there. So he lost one guy and one guy on 1 wound from that intercessor unit. So the power armor just bouncing all of the impacts coming in. The Carnifexes, as well as the Exocrine, firing everything into the Repulsor. I didn't take it out, but we've severely wounded it there, so it is just on 8 wounds remaining. Obviously no shooting weapons from this guy. These guys are fired into that as well. And the Hive Guard, they did move, so they are hitting on 4s. No line of sight required, and ignoring cover. Shooting up at the Eliminators. We did take one of them out. But we are going to do a stratagem as well, because we don't really want them guys there. So we're going to do single-minded annihilation. So it's 2 command points. So we are going to basically get to fire them again. So they're going to fire exactly the same target. So shooting up at these guys here. So we are hitting on 4s because we've moved. Okay, so don't do too bad here. So just 2 miss. Okay, and it is strength 8. So it'll be 2s to wound them, because we do ignore their cover. Okay, so we do get 4 wounds come through. And with the Impaler Cannon, that is -2. So it'll be, for them guys, it'll be 4 5-up saves. And it's D3 damage a time. So Graham does pass 2. But it is there is 2 models left, so D3 damage. Okay, so there's 3. That's 1 killed. Yeah, just one wound with it. And for the last one, we get, on a roll of a 4, is 2. So that is that unit. The Eliminators are eliminated. So it did cost us a few points, command points to do that. We are currently on 5. And Graham is currently on 5, 6, 7, I believe.
What's that?
7 command points left.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So 5 apiece. So we're doing all right for command points there as well. We are going to do some charges as well, actually.
No, actually 7. Sorry.
Oh, you've already got some spent.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So Graham is actually on 7. You'd put them on your board, on you.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
Strategies to do. Okay, so as for charges, we do have a few charges to set off. I'm going to attempt to get the Hive Tyrants into combat with the Repulsor. We're going to try and get the Genestealers into combat with basically both of these units here. We're going to try and multi-charge there, as well as the Broodlord. And then just across this side, we're going to attempt to get the Hive Tyrant into combat with the Dreadnought. So we'll come back once we have decided where we want to start, and hopefully we'll see if we can get in. Right, so we are just back after the assault phase for Tyranids. Pretty uneventful, to be honest. This guy elected to charge into the Dreadnought. We did take 1 wound on Overwatch and failed to get in. We got a 3 on that. The Genestealers, they also failed to get in, also getting a 3. Graham did play a stratagem as well, a defense force. So he gets to select 3 additional units, including the one, as well as the one that is the choice of the main assault. So basically, this squad here, including Tyranids and the Whirlwind, all fired Overwatch at the Genestealers, and we did lose 1 Genestealer, so pretty decent there. But we did fail to get into combat over there. Over this side, however, this Hive Tyrant, we did take 1 wound off with the tail, and then we reduced 6 wounds with the massive scythe and talons. So this is severely damaged on 1 wound remaining over there. So that is all assaults done. So we'll hand over to Space Marines for their turn 2. And this is where the beachhead for the actual objectives, so push them back, comes into play here. So that basically means at the start of the second battle round, we start to accumulate our points. So we'll come back once Graham's decided what he wants to do for his movement on turn 2 for the Ultramarines. Right, so we are just at battle round 2. So just before we go through what Graham's done, just for points, obviously in combat over here, so nothing scored there, and Graham's not currently on any other objectives. For the Tyranids, we gain 2 for this one here, and 1 for the one in our own deployment zone. So that puts the Tyranids currently on 4 to the Ultramarines 1. Because obviously we both gained first strike. As for movement, Graham did cast Mantra of Strength from this guy here. So that basically gives him a +1 strength and +1 attack. The repulsors remain in combat. Obviously, the guys have disembarked. Just across this side, these guys have all just retreated back. The Whirlwind staying stationary. And across this way, Predator remaining stationary. Dreadnought and the Intercessors, as well as the Intercessor Lieutenant, have just all moved forward. So Graham is going to probably play a few stratagems as well. So I would dare bet that he's probably going to try and take out this Hive Tyrant down here, and then try and put some firepower elsewhere across the battlefield. But of course he does have Psychic Phase with Tyranid still being on the board. So we'll see what he does with that, and then we'll come back with the shooting phase. Right, so we are just back after Psychic and shooting for the Ultramarines. Psychic Phase, Tyranid casting Smite, and also casting, what was the other power that you cast for him?
Smite and Scare His Gears.
Scry His Gears, yeah, to be able to gain a reroll at 1 point, or a command point. So with that, there's a lot of strategies being used. So Graham used the automated Marital Precision, which gives an automatic hit for this guy. And then also used the reroll from the Psychic power as well. Got 3 wounds, and the Hive Tyrant passed them with his invuln. However, another stratagem placed to give these guys rapid fire 2. Now the Iron rapid fire range, so it's 4 shots apiece. So 40 shots from the bolt rifle coming into this guy has brought him down to 4 wounds, and that also was helped out by the Dreadnought as well. So he is limping along, but still alive. A couple of wounds coming in from the Intercessors and the Whirlwind, just taking out 3 Gene Stealers down here. Across this side, the Repulsors obviously still in combat. However, the Aggressors fired down at the Carnifex here and managed to take 1 wound off, so he's still fine there. So apart from that, that was all shooting done. Do you have any assaults to set off, sir?
Yeah, I'm going to set off 1, 2, 3 assaults.
Okay, 3 assaults, and who is going first?
I'm going to Dreadnought into your Hive Tyrant.
Okay, so Dreadnought's going to charge.
Yeah.
We'll have Overwatch, yeah. So we'll resolve Overwatch in a second though, because I have a lot of dice to roll.
Let's see if we get in first. 3, no we don't.
Okay, so a little bit out of order here, but just because of the camera. Obviously, I haven't got big enough hands to hold 24 dice.
Right. Does he have any weapons?
Just combat based.
Just combat based.
He's in combat anyway, so.
Overwatch. Okay, so the Chaplain in first.
Okay.
4.
Yep.
That was it.
That'll get him in.
Yep, and
the Aggressors as well.
Yeah, 6.
Okay, so Aggressors and the Chaplain going in to help out the Repulsor down here.
So that will get around here, and these are just going to
pile in.
Not rape, yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Right, so we'll do Overwatch over here. So I'll come back once I've resolved that, and then we'll probably catch this assault on camera. Right, okay, so just doing combat. Just to mention, 1 wound was inflicted over here by Overwatch. So we're just going to do the Chaplain first. Obviously with his Mantra of Strength and with the Shock Assault rule, it'll be 6 attacks against the Hive Tyrant here. Is it with the Crossius?
With the, is it the Crossius or the Rose? Yeah, the Crossius Arcanum.
Okay, dog.
Yeah. Right, so we get 6 attacks, we're hitting on 2s.
Oh, cool. So 2s against the Hive Tyrant. Okay, so he finds his mark, all hits.
Strength 5.
Toughness 7. Does he
double
plus strength?
plus, so yeah, strength 5, strength 6. Yeah,
So
so
it's
it's
plus
strength
1,
4,
is that?
Strength 4, strength 5 with this plus 1 for the litany of hit, for the litany.
Yeah, for the mantra.
Strength, the mantra of strength, and plus 1 for using the Crossius.
So strength 6 against the toughness of 7, so it'll be 5 to wound. Does get 2 wounds.
2 wounds. It is -1, 2 damage apiece.
-1, okay, so it'll be 4 up regardless. So we do fail both of them. And what was the damage?
2 damage.
2 damage, so that drops that Hive Tyrant down to 10 wounds. So just stick them there. Okay, and the aggressors.
We fist you to death. Right. Auto boards from Gorman's melee. Right, so they get 3. Right, so the sergeant gets 4.
So you'll now get
Standard
5 for
gets
shock
5.
assault.
Yep. The other guys get 4 attacks.
That's including the
That's
shock assault,
including
yeah.
the shock assault. Right, I am using a power fist, so to speak. So when resolving attacks made with this weapon, subtract 1. So I'm hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 4s with the power fist-esque weapons. Number of hits coming through there.
Yeah, quite happy with that.
Not too bad. What's that? 7?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8, sorry, yeah.
8. It is times 2.
So it's strength 8.
If they use strength 8, toughness.
3 to wound. And toughness 7.
Oh, not so good.
Not so good on the wounds. 3 wounds come through.
Right, so 3 wounds come through, and it is -3.
Okay, so 4 up in run for our psychic barrier. So we do fail all 3.
D3 apiece.
Okay, so D3 damage. Says 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 wounds dropped, so that is severely reduced this guy down. So he's got 3 wounds remaining. Of course, we will get our own attacks back. So just remove them, drop them down to 3. So with our attacks,
Where are you directing these attacks?
These attacks are going to be on the aggressor squad.
I knew it would be.
Actually, no. Yeah, I'll go for your chaplain, actually. Right, first of all, though, I am going to play a stratagem. I'm going to do implant attack. So, use the stratagem after a Tyranid unit from your army fights in the fight. Oh, it's after, sorry, my apologies. So I'll do it afterwards. So I'll do the tail first. So with his weapon skill. Let's have a look. So he will be hitting on 3s now. No, scratch that. He'll be hitting on 4s because he's only got 3 wounds. So 4s with the tail. It does fail. Okay, and 5 attacks with his monstrous scythe and talons.
This is against the chaplain, yeah.
It is, yeah. So it'll be hitting on 4s, re-rolling any 1s. Drop dice. Okay, so these 3 miss. We do get to re-roll the 1, which we miss with that as well. So we do get 1 hit, and it is strength 6 against toughness 4.
Great.
And we do also fail the wound. Alright, okay, so I'm not going to bother with that. Actually, I don't. Let's have a... We'll have a think about, see if we do a stratagem here. Right, so that is... I did decide actually implant attack is only if I've done a wound, which I haven't, so I'm not going to bother doing that. So, successful combat over there. Still alive, so we'll have to see what we can do with this guy here. But apart from that, that's Graham's turn done. So we'll move on to Tyranids for their turn 2. Let's have a look and see if we can get the Gene Stealers further up. Start ripping some heads off. Right, so we are just back after movement phase for Tyranids on their turn 2. So the Hive Guard have just remained stationary down here. Across this side, the Exocrines remained stationary as well. We have also just moved ahead. We've advanced with the 3 Carnifexes just coming through here, just to lend some fire support. This guy's just fell out of combat. I have also played Rapid Regeneration, so he's back up to 6 wounds, just to keep him alive for a little bit longer. Gene Stealers have advanced up 15 inches and 12 inches just with the Broodlord, so they're looking to get into assault up here. These Termagants are just staying down here, and we've moved ahead with the 2nd Hive Tyrant up here as well. He is weakened, but hopefully we'll just be able to slow this advance down, give Graham a bit of a target there as well. So after that, that's everything all done. So we're going to do some Psychic powers. So we'll come back with Psychic, and then we'll move on with shooting for the Tyranids on their turn 2. Right, we are just back after Psychic phase for the Tyranids on turn 2. So over this side we cast Psychic Scream and also Smite, reducing the Intercessor unit down quite a bit, so not too bad over there. We also cast the Horror from the Broodlord, and we targeted the Whirlwind just to reduce the firepower from that. And then from this guy, we also cast Onslaught onto the lead Carnifex here, because these lot have all advanced, and we were out of range to cast Catalyst for the Gene Stealers, so we'll put it onto the Exocrine just to give them a little bit more support there. So apart from that, we're just going to open up with shooting. We'll have a think about where we want to start. We need to try and take that tank out actually, so I think we'll do that now. So the Exocrine has remained stationary, so he does get to fire with an increased ballistic skill. So he will be hitting on 3s this time, and that'll be against the Repulsor. So hitting on 3s. Okay, so we do get a few 2s actually, so that's actually quite bad. But because of weapon base, we do get a fire twice. So with the Exocrine's weapon, it is your toughness 8, I believe, aren't you? Okay, so it will be 5s to wound, strength 7. Okay, we don't get anything with the first volley. Weapon base, because we have stayed still, we get a fire again. So 5s. 3s, sorry. Okay, a little bit better. And now it's 5s. Okay, so we do get 2 wounds come through, and that'll be at, for that weapon, -3 to the save, and 2 damage apiece.
Come on, 2 6-ups. Nah.
No, it has gone. Does it explode?
Let's have a look at the exploding one, show what it is. Tried once, 1d6 before. Yeah, it's only 6.
Just a standard.
Yeah, just a standard one. Nope.
No, it doesn't explode, but that's that tank wrecked. So we'll continue on with the rest of shooting and see what damage we can do elsewhere. But apart from that, that's that threat removed. Right, so shooting has been completed for Tyranids on turn 2. So what have we done? Obviously we destroyed the tank there, you've seen that. These 3 Carnifexes all shot across at the Whirlwind. Not too much damage, just reducing the Whirlwind down to 8 wounds. The Hive Guard just shooting across managed to kill one of the aggressors. And across this side, this Hive Tyrant whittling this squad massively down, only down to 4. So morale's going to be a bit of an issue there maybe. But of course, Tyranids do excel in combat usually, so of course we're going to have to set some assaults off. So this Hive Tyrant is going to charge the Intercessor unit. The Gene Stealers are going to charge the Intercessor. Well, I'm going to select a multi-charge here, so I'm going to attempt to charge the Intercessors and Tigris. And across here, we are going to attempt to get these 2 Carnifexes here into combat with the Chaplain, and that Hive Tyrant into combat. No, he can't because he flew out of combat. So yeah, these 2 are going to try and go for the Chaplain. So Graham, of course, will have a couple of Overwatch to resolve, so we'll get that all sorted and see who's getting in, and then we'll do combats. Right, so we are just back after assaults, so quite successful. Across this side, we managed to get in with the Carnifex, living battering ram, taking a wound off the Chaplain, and then in combat, he is reduced down to 1 wound. Graham does need to do his attacks back, which we'll get on camera in a sec. Over this side, however, Slay the Warlord was scored. We killed Tigris, and then the remaining Gene Stealers and the Broodlord wiped out the rest of the Intercessors, and were just consolidated into the Whirlwind there. And across this side, we did manage to kill a few of the Marines, killed one of them, so there's just 3 remaining, but they did manage to do 2 wounds onto the Hive Tyrant there, so he's almost killed here. So Graham's just going to do his attacks over here with the Chaplain.
Yeah.
So he is...
so 4 attack standard, 5 for the...
5 for the Shock Assault.
And 6 for the Shock Assault.
Yep, so 6 attacks in total with his Crossius.
Hitting on... Yep, hitting on 3s. No,
He's not hitting on 2s.
2s, sorry, 2. Yep, so that's 1 hit. 4, 5. Strength of the... strength... 5.
Strength 6, isn't it?
Strength 6, yep.
Yep, so strength 6, 5's to wound, because toughness 7. Oh, triple 6. Okay, so 3 wounds do come through. Any minus from that?
For the Crozius, it is -1.
Okay.
2 damage.
Okay, so it'll be 4 up regardless. So 4 up. I'm thinking of Hive Tyrant for the Invulnerable, my bad, but it would be 4 up anyway, because it's -1, isn't it? Okay, so we do fail 1.
2 damage.
So 2 damage comes through onto this Carnifex. That'll reduce him down to 6 wounds, because he is 8 wound model, I believe. Okay, so that is combat all done. So we'll obviously calculate points at the start of the next following round. But as you can see, it looks as though the Marines aren't out of the fight yet, by no chance. But they are starting to feel a little bit swamped, especially around their left flank. Around that way, but of course there is there hope, you know, for the Redemptor Dreadnought? Is he going to do some heroics? I think so. I think he's probably going to pick this Hive Tyrant out the sky and slam him to the ground. And bear in mind, we still have a full wounded Predator and Annihilator here as well, so there's still hope for the Marines yet. But we'll have to look and see what Graham plans to do on his turn 3. Right, so we are just back after movement for the Ultramarines on turn 3, and just for points at the beginning of battle round, the Tyranids have scored 2 for that, and 1 for the Termagants just happily sitting. They've done nothing all game, but what they've done is they've kept in the back lines and just kept raking in at least 1 point per turn. The Ultramarines have they're not close enough to get any points here or middle, but just been having a bit of a chat with Graham there as well, and I've just basically said, right, says, Tyranids are in your face, what are you going to do? And he says, I'm going to shoot them. So so he's obviously retreated from combat with the Whirlwind. Obviously with the Ultramarines chapter tactic, he'll still be able to shoot. These guys have remained stationary. And over here, the Intercessor unit has just fell out of combat. The Lieutenant's just still there, ready to fire. And Graham's pulled a bit of a cheeky smile while he just pulled the turret towards the Hive Tyrant. I think we can say bye to that this turn. And the Redemptor, which I thought the Redemptor was going to go for the combat, but it looks as though he's after my Warlord, because he's very close here. So we're expecting a bit of a combat over this side, or is he going to blow them away? We'll have to wait and see. Over here, the Chaplain is going to go down fighting. He's still in combat, and the aggressors are just moved out. More than likely to get some shots off at this Hive Tyrant and then potentially help out their Chaplain brother there. But we'll have to wait and see. Grim doesn't have any Psychic because I killed Tigris. Yay! So we'll come back once Grim's shooting has been decided, and we'll catch some of that on camera as well. Right, so we are just back after shooting phase for the Ultramarines. Pretty decent actually. So across here, the Intercessors managed to kill the Hive Tyrant. He did actually, his death throws went off and killed one in return. They did previously pass their morale as well, so they're fine for the time being. Across this side, the combination of the Intercessors as well as the Dreadnought shooting, killing the Gene Stealer squad, leaving the Broodlord nice and open. The Predator then directed its firepower against him, but did fail. We did pass both of our invulnerable saves there. Graham getting 2 wounds, but we passed them. And then, of course, the Whirlwind, diminished firepower because of the horror, and also moving out of combat, hitting on 5s against this guy, got 1 wound, but we did also pass that as well. Just over here, the aggressors firing into the Hive Tyrant. Got a couple of wounds, but we managed to pass our saves there. But Graham, of course, does have a couple of assaults to set off as well. So where are you starting?
Start here.
So the aggressors, and where are they going?
Now, what do I do? Do I go into the Carnifex or do I go into the...
Well, neither of them have got... Well, he's in combat, so he wouldn't be able to shoot, and he's got no shooty weapons.
I've got the Litany of Hate, but that's not on himself.
It's within 6 inches, isn't it?
So who's got shooty weapons? But he's already in.
Yeah, he's already in combat,
So
the Carnifex.
yeah, I'm going to give me Chaplain a hand.
Yeah,
So
I thought you would,
I'll
yeah.
get it in the Carnifex.
Okie doke.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they'll be in on a 7-inch charge. So they're going to help his their brother out there.
Right. And the Dreadnought into your Brewler.
Okay. No shooty weapons.
Yeah.
Okay, 6, 7, 8-inch charge over here. Okay, nice. So we'll actually do the combat on camera, might as well, because there's only a few of them to resolve. So are you starting over there?
Yeah, we'll start with the Dreadnought.
Okay.
I'll just get them up. Right, he has got 4 attacks, but with what the Shock Assault.
Does he have Angels of Death?
All of them have got Angels of Death. Yep, Angels of Death.
Okay, so he will get it then. Nice.
So we're going to be using the Redemptive Fist. Yep, so we are hitting on 3s.
Okay. So hit on 3s.
All hit. Nice.
All hit. He
Nice.
finds his mark.
This is what we need. It is the ×2 of the user, so strength 14.
Against toughness 6.
2s.
Yep.
Ooh, just one misses.
Just the one fails wound to wound
the
there.
rest has gone in.
So that's 4 wounds.
-3.
-3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this will come down to our 5 up in one here. Okay, so we do pass 2 and fail 2. And what is the damage, sir?
D6.
D6 damage. Okay, he is full wounds here, so if Graham gets 6 or more, he's dead.
4, 5.
5 wounds! Oh, he lives! He does live, okay, so...
What? Wait, I knew I was saving this dice.
Yeah, I was going to say, you do have a command reroll.
Command reroll. I'm rerolling that. Dead.
Okay, yep. Successfully killed there, and Graham no longer has any command points left. So that is Slay the Warlord scored there. So we'll obviously move... Thank you, sir. We'll move over to here. So who's going first? The chaplain or the aggressors?
We're going to do the chaplain.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get him. Actually, no. We'll do the aggressors.
Just to recap as well, he has done his Litany of Hate rather than the other one of Strength. So
He has Litany of Hate.
5 attacks, is it?
It is 4 attacks for the sergeant.
But you did...
Five.
Are you doing the aggressors or...?
I'm doing the aggressors.
Oh, right. I thought you were doing the chaplain.
Sorry, I am doing the chaplain, sorry.
So it'll be 5 attacks for him because he has charged.
Yeah.
He did get 6 before for his other litany, or whatever it's called.
And the Litany of Hate... I'm not too sure what
It's for his pals, isn't it?
Dude, yeah, Litany of Hate. If this Litany is inspiring, you can re-roll hit rolls for attacks made with melee weapons by models in friendly chapter. Yeah, so...
Okay, so...
Units, whilst the unit is within 6.
Nice, so he'll get it.
So I'll get
benefit from his own bubble.
Yeah.
So hitting on 2s.
Hitting on 2s on this one. All but 1. It is strength.
Strength 5 1.
Strength 5 on this one, yeah. So strength 4 plus 1 for the weapon, strength 5.
Okay, and this is against the toughness 7. So it'll be 5 to wound.
Need some high. Oh, nice. 2 6s.
2 6s.
Yep. It is -1 AP. 2 damage apiece.
Okay, -1, so 4 up. So we do pass 1 but fail 1. And what was the damage, sorry?
2 damage.
2 damage, so it drops the Carnifex down to 4 wounds.
Right.
And the aggressors? They'll no doubt be
yeah.
going next.
And these get to
They do get Angel of Death, so it'll be what?
reroll hit rolls.
Ah, yes, they will because
Yep.
of the litany.
So, the sergeant, which is still alive, gets 5 attacks with the shock assault, while
The other
the
one gets
aggressor
4.
gets 4.
So 9 attacks from these guys at the Carnifex. Okay, so they're coming in, they are helping their brethren out here.
These are hitting on 3s.
Don't want to see their religious leader dead.
And I get to reroll my hit rolls.
Nice. Okay,
So that's a good start.
reroll.
Even better. So all them hit. Strength 2 of the use.
Times 2, yeah, so strength 8.
Strength 8.
So 3's to wound, because the toughness 7. That's some nice rolls.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wounds.
Okay, 7 wounds caused.
7 wounds at -3.
-3. Okay,
Yeah.
so 6 up saves here. Okay, so we do pass 1, but we do fail 6, which is more than enough
D6.
to kill the Carnifex.
3. Dead.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yes, sorry, yeah, that was the damage, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, he doesn't have he doesn't explode or anything like that, so that is that threat removed. Okay, nice work there. The aggressor's just helping out their chaplain there on 1 wound, and of course he can consolidate as well, and more than likely going to consolidate into combat there. So that's combat all resolved. So we'll come back with the beginning of turn 3 for Tyranids. Alright, so we are just back after movement phase for Tyranids on turn 3. Graham's not currently here at the moment, so we have stayed stationary with the Hive Guard. They're within synaptic range from the Hive Tyrant, just fell out of combat here. Hopefully get some psychic powers off and maybe finish these off or finish the chaplain off. We've moved round with the Exocrine and to just be able to see the back end of the Whirlwind, so we'll be able to get some shots off there. Both Carnifexes just moving up to potentially get into some charges if needed. Across this side, however, we've kind of had to abandon this this flank. We do still have these guys here. They're just happy huddled around that objective, just getting us that point. But we kind of need to deal with this. So I think what the option here is we're going to potentially use the Hive Guard to either shoot. There's a couple of targets that I've got in mind. We could go for the Whirlwind, could go for the Dreadnought. It's going to be armor, or we could go for the Predator there and try and weak it down. I think what our job is, we're going to try and basically remove this threat and then start to sweep around kind of this way and then be behind the lines. It's the only real option we've got, but we are very low on model count as well, actually. We only have 3 there. Yes, we've got a full squad of Termagants over here, but obviously if that Dreadnought turns around and starts coming down here, then they're pretty much dead. Across this side, like I say, I think these will pretty much it'll kill these, but then we'll have to sweep around and kill as much as we possibly can. So apart from that, we'll have to do some psychics and some shooting, and hopefully we can get some stuff shifted off the board. Alright, so we are just back after a quick psychic and shooting phase. Psychic phase was uneventful, but we did peril, so dropped 2 wounds off the Hive Tyrant there, and then we failed to pass smite onto the aggressors, requiring a 7. Shooting, this guy, the X-Client, attempted to shoot across at the Whirlwind and failed with it miserably. The 2 Carnifexes fired into the aggressors and killed one of the aggressor unit there. The star of the show so far with the Hive Guard, using single-minded annihilation as well, so I could fire twice. Shot up and reduced the Whirlwind down to 2 wounds remaining. So just for assaults, we are going to set off a couple of assaults here. So the Carnifex and the Hive Tyrant are both going to charge into combat with the Chaplain, and then this Carnifex is going to attempt to charge into the aggressor. So we'll do this Carnifex first. So of course Graham will get Overwatch with his Boltstorm Gauntlet, so it'll be 6 shots. For the Boltstorm Gauntlet for him. So requiring 6s.
Nope.
Okay, so no hits there. So the Carnifex need on a 9, that'll get him in there. And then of course you do have your Absolver Bolt Pistol there.
Nope.
Which does fail. So the other Carnifex, so he will crumble over that and get there. So we will do the living battering ram rule as well. So that one there does get in on a 9. So that'll be him in, and then the flying hive tyrant as well.
Can he get back into combat with he failed? Because he was technically in combat.
Oh yes, he was. Yes, my bad. Yeah, I totally forgot. But yeah, the 2 Carnifexes are both in. So move them in there. So we might as well just do the battering ram. So for that guy on a 4 up. Nope. And for that one over there as well. On a 4, he does take a mortal wound and dies. The chaplain is dead. Yeah. Okay, so just for combats, for the Carnifex, we will do, I believe it's 4 attacks for him. It certainly is, yeah. So 4 attacks. We are hitting on, normally we're hitting on 4s, but we are hitting on 3s because we're charged. Okay, so we do get 2 hits. So that's 2 hits there. And we do get to re-roll any failed hits of 1, but we didn't get any 1s. So strength of the user, which is strength 6 against his toughness 5. So 3s to wound. Do get the 2 wounds come through. And that's AP -3 and 3 damage a time against the aggressor.
Nope.
Okay, so he is killed. Okay, and once he's removed, we will just consolidate 3 inches further up. Okay, and that is assaults all completed off. This guy will move up slightly as well. And that's everything done. So that is the turn 3 done for Tyranids. So we'll hand over to Space Marines, see what they can do on their turn 4. Right, so we're just back after Graham's movement and shooting for turn 4 for Marines. So movement, as you can probably guess, a lot of the Marines are coming around this way, and these guys have just shifted up as well. Subsequent shooting, these guys have just rapid fired and killed 2 of the termagants down here, and a lot of firepower coming in. The Intercessors, the Whirlwind and the Dreadnought all shooting in at the Carnifex down here, reducing his... he survived a lot of the damage there as well, actually. Didn't take any damage. Across this way, the Predator fired 3 Vidslaz cannons at the Exocrine. Did miss with 2 of them, unfortunately, but one of them taking off 3 wounds. And one of them coming in and missing with the hit rolls. So a little bit unfortunate, but obviously now Graham is established. He's still. So subsequent shooting phases, provided on line of sight, obviously it'll be at full capability there. Just to mention about command points as well, Graham does have none left. He spent his points, and Tyranids currently just have 1 remaining. So do you have any assaults to set off?
No.
No. Okay, so we will go into Tyranids turn 4. It looks as though turn 4, potentially turn 5 maybe, but we'll have to see what we do. Just to mention as well, actually, the Whirlwind didn't fire down there. It fired down at the Hive Guard and reduced this one down to 1 wound. But they are still a full unit there. So we'll have a look and see if we can exchange some firepower and see what we can do. Right, so we are just back after movement and shooting for Tyranids on turn 4. Not a lot to sing home about. So these guys attempted to shoot at the Whirlwind. The Exocrine fired twice at the Whirlwind. And the Carnifex is fired at the Whirlwind. And it's still alive. Just failed Graham passing a tremendous amount of saves. And that is pretty much it. So we do have some charges to set off. So not 100% sure, but I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to wreck the board first. The Hive Tyrant, I think he's going to go into the Dreadnought. This Carnifex into the Whirlwind, and this Carnifex into the Assessor unit, the Intercessor unit. So of course Graham will get Overwatch of a lot. Just to mention about Psychic as well there, we did attempt to cast Smite but failed, but we did get Catalyst off onto this guy here, just to give him a little bit of protection there. So we'll come back once Overwatch is resolved, and then we'll see what combats we've managed to pull off. Right, so we are just back after the Tyranids assault for turn 4. Not great. We failed to get into combat with both of the Carnifexes. No damage on Overwatch, however, but Graham did get the fire, and the Hive Tyrant was slain. We did deal out 6 damage on this guy, so the Dreadnought's currently on 4 wounds, but then the Dreadnought ripped his wings off and stamped him to the ground. So that's that removed. So across this side, Synapse has actually failed. So it just means that obviously if we elect to attack things that aren't too far away, so if they're not the closest target, that's where we start to suffer a bit of minuses. It's not as bad as what it used to be. So apart from that, we'll move on to Graham's turn 5, see what happens there. Right, so we are just back after Graham's movement and shooting phase. Movement-wise, the Intercessors have come down here and then subsequently shot into the Termagants, taking 2 out. Star of the show, the Predator stayed stationary, fired all 4 of its las cannons and took out the Exocrine, so that's that threat removed. And then just over here, everybody else shooting into the lead Carnifex, bring them down to 2 wounds. Graham does have a charge to set off, which is going to be the Dreadnought going into the Carnifex. We'll do Overwatch. So D3 for the Heavy Venom Cannon. So we do get 2. So hitting on 6s. We do get a 6. Strength 9, so it'll be 3s to wound. So we do get a wound, and that is minus for that particular weapon. Just double check, because my Codex did die on me, so I'm just using stats that I've got here. It'll be minus 2, I believe, for a Heavy Venom Cannon. Right, yeah, so I just had to double check. Yeah, it is minus 2, and it's 3 damage, so 5 up. Does fail it. So that guy takes 3 wounds coming in. And does he actually get into combat as well?
So I'm on 1 wound.
Yeah, 1 wounded Dreadnought.
See if I get into combat. Yeah.
Okay, he is in. And that is the only assault, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so how many attacks do you get now?
5 attacks still.
Do your attacks not diminish because of your damage bracket?
My attacks don't diminish. It's just my movement, weapon skill, and ballistic skill.
Okay,
I'm hitting on 4s.
Hitting on 5s, no doubt.
Hitting on 5s now.
Okay, so hitting on 5s against the Carnifex.
Nice.
2 go through.
Only need 2. Strength 17.
Strength 14.
14, sorry. 14.
Against Carnifex, toughness is 7, so it'll be 2s to wound. 2s.
Oh.
Does get 1 wound comes through. What's the minus?
Minus 3.
Minus 3. 6 up save. If ever we needed it, we need it now. No, almost. D6 damage. If you get a 1...
I cry. Nah.
No, he is killed. And he does not... they don't get death throws, so that'll be that character removed. So we'll continue on and see what happens next. Right, so we are just back after Tyranid's turn. Just having to record the whole thing because I forgot to bring my charger for my camera as well, so we are dying on power. It's basically, nobody moved, nobody did any psychic. We fired the Carnifex and destroyed the Dreadnought, didn't blow up, and we attempted to get into combat with the Intercessor unit. Took 1 wound on Overwatch and failed to get in. Just across this side, the Hive Guard finally managed to kill the Whirlwind, so that went up, didn't explode, and nothing else, and that is it. So Graham's just going to roll to see if the game continues. I think he wants it to, because he wants to go for a wipeout. On a 4, it does, so we'll have to see what happens next at the beginning of turn 6. Right, so we are just back after turn 5 for Marines. These guys shot in and then assaulted and took out the Termagant unit there. So, well done there. A couple of las cannon shots as well as bolters coming in at the Carnifex, reducing them down to 4 wounds. And that is it. So, very quick recaps here, just to do with the battery life on the camera, because I'm stupid and forgot to bring my charger. So, we'll come back once we've done turn 6 for Tyranids. If anything major comes up, of course, I will catch it. But at this stage, I'm going to have to do it in little snippets like this. So, we'll come back with what the result is. Right, so we are just back after a quick Tyranid phase there. So the we haven't moved basically, apart from the Carnifex moved up. Shot into the Predator, as well as the Hive Guard, who stayed still down here, and reduced it down to 7 wounds. Just down here as well, combat, we did get in, took 1 wound, and that was from Living Battering Ram. In return, Graham's attacks reduced the Carnifex down to 1 wound. And that is it. So Graham's just going to roll to see if game goes on to the final turn, turn 7. Right, so just at the end of turn 6 for Tyranids, very quickly, nobody moved apart from the Carnifex, just moved up to get in range for an assault. Subsequently, shooting phase, the Carnifex and these guys both fired into the Predator and reduced it down to 7 wounds. In combat, we charged in, did 1 mortal wound on Living Battering Ram rule, and nothing else. In return, Graham's attacks reduced this down to 1 wound. And Graham did roll the dice previously on the other camera, but it died. But it did roll at 2. So that is the end of the game. So scores at the end as well. So the Marines got Slay the Warlord, got Linebreaker, and First Strike. So that puts them on 3 because we have kept them away from a lot of these objectives. But because a lot of the time we were on this one... Oh, actually, you'll get another one for that. Yeah, so just recalculating points there. Graham, obviously, he is on the enemy objective here, which for Beachhead is worth 3. So that puts Graham on 6 points. And the Tyranids are on 10. So, obviously, a lot of the time, the little unit down here, Termagants, were claiming us points each turn. So... very enjoyable game. It's always a good game with these two armies face each other. So apart from that, there's not really a great deal really to go over, really. It's just absolute carnage when these two forces meet. So model for the match, Graham, what would you say?
Model for the match, I'd say me Dreadnought.
You Dreadnought. Yeah, he did do well. Just
Dreadnought,
fire support.
Predator.
Yeah, Predator, he didn't do much at the beginning of the game, but then, of course... came down and took out the Exocrine. Yeah. For me, I think I'm probably going to have to go with the Carnifexes. The Carnifex Brood, they did well, they took out quite a lot and lended a lot of fire support and a lot of tough units to take out as well. But that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this battle report by Battleforge Brothers. Please check out the rest of the channel. Give us a like and a subscribe as well. And until next time, happy wargaming.